trying to undermine the Trump administration. Over the weekend, disgraced former FBI Director James Comey ripped the Attorney General, Bill Barr, saying the Attorney General was echoing conspiracy theories. That's a joke coming from him. But meanwhile, a Boston Herald columnist points out that James Comey himself, well, he has been a central figure in the biggest conspiracy theory in modern times, namely the Russia hoax. And joining us now with reaction, the Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman, Lindsey Graham. You know, I actually read stuff, and I once read the Nunes report, took the time to read. I read the Grassley-Graham memo. You might be familiar with that one. And it said that the bulk of information in the FISA application in October of 2016 that led directly to the spying of the Trump campaign, then the Trump transition team, then the Trump presidency, was the Hillary phony, unverifiable Russian dossier. And James Comey signed it, and in January 2017 told then candidate Trump in Trump Tower, President-elect Trump, that it's salacious but not verified, the opposite of what he said to the FISA court. That would sound like a crime was perpetrated on the court by James Comey to me, but what do I know?
Well, it's not a theory. We know that Comey told the president in a private meeting that I want you to know about the dossier. It's unverified, it's salacious, but I want you to know about it. And that's the same document given to the court beginning in October where they said under oath it was credible and reliable to get a warrant against an American citizen. Those two things don't add up. That's not a conspiracy theory. Those are facts that need to be reconciled.
How do you make what they did to Attorney John Dowd, who was just defending himself?
Yeah,
what do you make of Mueller last week? 9.5 minutes. Everything he said contradicted what he had previously said about the issue of whether or not DOJ policies allows the consideration of an indictment of a sitting president, and that was a factor. But he said just the opposite to 5 other people on 7 other occasions.
Well, so this is important. When he met with Barr personally weeks before the report was given out, he told Barr, I can't decide about obstruction. I'm going to let you do it. But I did not make my decision based on DOJ policy. You can't indict a sitting president. I just think the complication of the facts and the law, I'm going to turn it over to you. He never mentioned that in the news conference, and that's very important. But here's what he did in his 400-something page report. No collusion with the Russians. He decided not to bring a case against the president based on obstruction. To me, case closed. Let's look at Comey, McCabe, Strzok, Page, all these other people, and see how we got into this mess to begin with.
Senator, we now learn that all of this special treatment and consideration was given to Hillary Clinton. You know, no recordings, no 302s. You allow other people to sit in on an FBI, supposedly, investigation, unprecedented. Then you have Strzok and Page implicating the Attorney General as having the fix-in the whole time, the same one that met with Bill Clinton on the tarmac for 45 minutes to talk about grandkids only. And we know that she violated the Espionage Act because James Comey told us so. Then we have the intention of destroying the evidence that was a subpoenaed emails. How do we say we have equal justice in this country and equal application of our laws if she gets away with that?
Well, I think the decision not to prosecute her was probably most likely politically motivated because obstruction of justice, taking a hammer to 2 phones being asked for as evidence, cleaning a server, bleaching it out so you can't get the emails, is classic obstruction of justice. Compromising classified information, she clearly did that. The decision not to prosecute her was pretty simple, in my view. If you want her to win, you can't prosecute her.
Well, you have a big say in this, Senator, because you happen to be the chairman of the powerful committee that will look into this. But we now are expecting the Horowitz report on FISA abuse. I'm not sure exactly what John Ober is doing, but I expect we'll hear something about the leaking aspect of all of this. Then we've got Mr. Durham, who wanted to interview Christopher Steele, which I think would be a good first step. Maybe our friends, the British, can extradite him, which would be nice. And then we've got the Attorney General himself, who answered your questions. Is Mueller dead? Yes. Are you concerned about the Hillary investigation? Yes. Are you concerned about FISA abuse? Yes. Are you concerned about intel abuse? Yes. What should happen in your view going from here?
So Horowitz will issue his report about the FISA warrant process. I will take their report to see if we need to change our laws to make sure it never happens again. Durham's going to look at all these caster characters to see if they broke the law. And Barr is going to make sure the DOJ is reformed so it's never abused in this way in the future. My job is to have oversight, to change the laws to protect the country from abuse in the future. Durham is looking at criminality, and Barr is sitting on top of all of that. We're going to get to the bottom of it for the good of the country, because at the end of the day, you can't have people enforcing the law take it in their own hands for political purposes.
And by the way, all your travel, and I know you're doing great things for the country on national security issues.
Thank you.
But you're taking away from the audience hearing directly from you when you go away for a week. I'm just saying. Not that I have any influence.
Can I say one thing about the border?
Yes,
President Trump is right to do whatever is necessary to stop the disaster at the border. It's not a crisis, it's a complete disaster. And Mexico can do better, they should do better, and I support the president in any way possible to get Mexico to do better. And I'm going to have a vote on my bill to close the asylum loophole and the unaccompanied minors in 2 weeks.
Count me in. Thank you, Senator. Good.